Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Monday morning. It is now the 6th day of January 2025, and this is the morning briefing. As I look out the window from the home weather office this morning, it's bright and sunny. It's a cool morning, as you might expect, but it is dry, and we are going to be into a dry period. How long this might go on is still up in the air, but it will at least last through this week. So for those of you that work outdoors and that sort of thing, you need to get some work done. This week is going to be dry, so you won't have any issues with rain or snow or anything like that. We might see some north wind, however, during the day tomorrow. Let me show you what's happening this morning with mainly clear skies over California. You see cloud cover out in here. But none of that is coming our way. Instead, our weather pattern is going to be very dry as these systems from the Pacific will get steered toward north. And then on the east side of the Sierra, you can see the clouds are coming from the north. So we have this typical big ridge that keeps California dry with a few clouds from time to time. And then as these little weather systems pass by to the east, we often get a north wind. All right, so let's talk about the big picture here, not only across the West, but also want to show you just how this is going to be looking across the country. So we have this big ridge here over the West. We have this big cold trough that goes throughout the eastern part of the country. And of course, this system right here is the snowstorm that is currently going through the Ohio Valley and into the mid-Atlantic, where we'll be making all sorts of headlines today. It'd be interesting to see how the evening newscasts, national newscasts, handle this tonight, because anytime you get a snowstorm in the mid-Atlantic, you know how they handle it. It's much bigger than any snowstorm you get in any other parts of the country. Anyway, so this is that typical pattern. Warm and dry in the west, cold and snowy in the east. And so that's the way it looks right now. Let me just fast forward a couple of days. We have these little inside slider sort of systems, so that by the time we get into Tuesday, we do have this low developing off to our south, and that develops this north wind. I do think we're going to have some gusty north breezes tomorrow. Then as we head through the next couple of days, this is getting into the day on Thursday, huge ridge here. And then this system is going to be very, very interesting how it develops here coming out of New Mexico and then tapping into moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. I'll show you more on this in a little bit. But this has the possibility of being a really interesting storm because you have the cold air then starting to mix with moist air coming in off the Gulf. All right, but for the western states, still dry. Here's a little passing weather system going by that'll bring us a few clouds. Here's that developing system. Should be up to maybe Friday here. Yes, this is Friday afternoon. So this is about to get interesting here. And then as we head through the next couple of days, California is still under this north flow, cool but dry. And then that system has already left off the East Coast. Let me back up a couple of frames. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's this system here, right here. And that races up the East Coast. All right, let's see if we can, let's go to the NAM. And let me just move this over here. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so this is the NAM, and this is this morning, and this is the snowstorm that is currently going through the areas around the Mid-Atlantic and back toward the Ohio Valley. I've mentioned before this purple line here. That's the 540 thickness line, the 5,400 meters, if you will, from 1,000 millibars to 500 millibars. And that just kind of usually is used as a pretty good rain snow line, and you can see that verifies pretty well here in the model. You have rain to the south, nice deep low, and as we go through the day today, that snowstorm begins to dissipate once we get into the night tonight. But boy, this right here just looks like a cold and windy pattern through New England, maybe some lake effect snow too, and from the Great Lakes, but New England just cold and windy. All right, so then pay attention down here, and the NAM won't get all the way through this, but it shows that system developing right here. So picking up moisture from the south, snow Let's see, this is into Thursday afternoon. So this is a system I want to pay attention to because the models are going to be all over the place with just what this may mean for the mid-Atlantic by the time we get into the weekend. But that's the potential for the next one down the road. So for that, let's go ahead and take a look and see how the way the GFS is handling that. So here's the GFS most recent version of this. And this shows mixed precipitation changing into snow here in areas from southern New England through New York and down and toward the Baltimore area. Interesting thing here, I have a friend that likes to, let's say, take a deep interest in the NFL. And mentioned that we may see a snowstorm hit Baltimore in a time for the Saturday game. If you'd like to take personal interests in some of those games, you may want to pay attention to that as well. That could be very, very interesting to have a snowstorm like this impact the game that Baltimore is playing on Saturday. But again, the models are going to be all over the place on that, but that is a classic nor'easter right there. This is the 12Z run of it. The 6Z run wasn't nearly as impressive. Let me just go back to that. I was looking at that because I'll tell you, the models are going to go all over the place with this, but I also have a feeling we're going to see a lot of hype about this too. So this is the way the 6Z run handles it, and as you can see, much less in the way of snow. The low is farther to the south, and it's just a little difference here in the position of this low with the cold air that'll make a huge difference in terms of how much snow they'll get in the mid-Atlantic. But this is, we're talking about Saturday, and today's Monday. Yeah, there will be speculation all over the web about that over the next couple of days. For California, well, in the western states, we are going to be into a dry pattern. So this is back to the 12Z run. And those inside sliders may bring some flurries for the Sierra, but as you can see during the day Tuesday, we have this north gradient setting up, so the wind goes parallel to these isobars. So we could see that gusty north wind. Yeah. Blah. The only good thing about this north wind is it will help to keep any fog away and likely dry the air out so that even once the wind decreases, it'll decrease the chance of fog because you'll have the humidity so low. This is getting into the day Friday and Saturday. Another passing system brings us a couple of clouds, maybe a bit more north gradient as we hit into the weekend. And this is as far out as this run goes. This is Sunday, so we are dry. Now, I mentioned the fact that the 6Z run was a little bit different. If you go out in time here on the 6Z run, this one actually did bring chances of rain starting a week from Friday and into the following weekend. However, this is out of step with all of the previous runs before that. So the 0Z run, so in other words, this is the run from last night at 4 o'clock, and this one is dry for California, and it's the 6Z run that the one that comes out in the middle of the night that looks a lot different. The 12Z run hasn't gone out that far in time just yet. But my hunch right now is that we are probably going to be dry for this week and next week. So we'll see how that goes. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe the next 3 or 4 weeks are relatively dry. I'm not saying no rain for the next 3 or 4 weeks, but what I'm saying is that there's a very good chance that our precipitation chances over the next 3 or 4 weeks could be very, very light. And then maybe toward the end of the month and into February, we see the pattern flip again and we get back into a very active pattern like we've seen from roughly the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So we'll see how that goes. But for those of you that work outdoors, and need to get projects done, it does look as though we are going to be into a good period here for you to get work done. Dry in our area, cool mornings, but pretty nice afternoons. That's everything I've got for you this morning on this Monday morning. Bright and sunny. Feels like the world is getting back to work today. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.